After 7 years of dreaming about it and planning it and boring our friends silly about it, we've got a year and a half of open road and adventure in front of us.
You can actually hear the hole in the tyre.
Right there.
That took us 6 months of these things. Oh, there. Yeah. So this is going to be the Egyptian room.
So when you're going across a river like that, what do you think might happen?
I think the car might turn over on its side.
Because it's lurching around so much?
Yeah, so it's like it's going to the left or to the right and you're thinking it's going to keep going. I'm never trusting you again. That was awful.
A few big holes there, wasn't there?
A few. I lost steering several times. I was like, ah!
Mummy did good driving?
Mummy, big car.
Good.
Want to go back and have another go?
No, that was it. That's it.
Today we're going to tackle the Mount Kosciuszko summit hike. Looks like this is about as good as the weather's going to get.
Well, we came out yesterday and the weather was atrocious. It was blowing a gale and it was freezing cold and it was raining. So we decided to take a rain check, excuse the pun. We've come out again today and while it's blowing a gale and freezing cold, it's not raining today, so we're going to do the Kosciuszko hike. Mum's first major walk on this trip. That's mine too, come to speak of it. So we should be back here in about 12 hours if all goes well.
There are actually 3 tracks that lead to the summit of Mount Kosciuszko. You can catch the chairlift from the ski village of Thredbo to the Eagle's Nest and then walk from there. There's the main range track which starts from Charlotte's Pass and crosses the Snowy River before snaking up over Carruthers Peak. And then there's the summit track, which is the one we're on, where you don't have to get your feet wet.
This track's called the Summit Track and it's actually the old road up to the peak of Mount Kosciuszko. It's been closed off now, you can't drive up here, but you can walk it fairly easy going, and it's about 9 kilometres each way. The best bit of course is it's downhill on the way home when we'll need it the most. So the only problem we've got now is trying to find somewhere out of the wind so we can boil the billy and have some morning tea. It's about 9:30, we haven't had morning tea yet, and that's going to become a problem anytime soon. Morning tea time?
Yes. Sounds like a great idea.
We started out there, there's the peak, so we're more than halfway there.
Wow.
On a fine day, this walk would be easy, but with this wind and the temperature hovering around 0, it's actually a pretty solid trek. The wind's just getting stronger and stronger the higher we go.
We're on the last kilometre of the trip now. Rises about 1 metre every 10 metres. It's very cold, very windy. We're nearly there. Should be there in about 10-15 minutes at this rate, I think. Maybe not, 20. And so, let's go. See what I've done to hold the camera down.
Well, it's been an awesome walk and we've made it to the top of Australia, and that's our first extreme conquered. 1 down and 5 to go.
This is the mountaineering bit.
Better than going back the other way.
Well, at 2,128 metres above sea level, these are the highest toilets in Australia, and it wouldn't be fitting to come all this way without trying them out.
was that?
Oh, fantastic. We'll do it again tomorrow.
No, all right.
Not. It's going to rain tomorrow. Give her a scratch, give her a scratch. She likes that. Oh, yeah. Likes a scratch.
So does Savannah. It's about back scratch, don't you, Savannah?
Yeah. Good girl. You're getting sleepy, are you, darling? Yeah. She does get tired. Hey.
This baby wombat's been named Rose, and she was rescued from the roadside after her mum was hit by a car.
Cheeky girl.
Barely skimming the about that.
Animal. And poor Rose went straight up to her. Hello, sweetheart.
Here we are.
Hello.
This last week at Mount Kosciuszko really has been the best week of the trip so far. We've made it to the highest point on the continent and ticked off the first of our Australian extremes.
I'm on the top of Mount Kosciuszko at the moment.
Jen's mastered the art of river crossings. And Savannah's had her first overnight hike.
Just hopping past.
We can't cook in the tent, can we?
No, the tent might catch on fire.
That's right.
And just to top things off, on our last day here, the sun came out and we've headed down to Thredbo for some sightseeing.
I'm a bit scared.
Oh, you look it.
Tomorrow we'll be packing up camp, and in a few days we'll be back in Melbourne in time for Christmas. And then it's off again for a full year on our big lap around Australia.
And Mummy, do it to me again.
Yep, everything was falling nicely into place.
1, 2, 3, and
go!
Right up until it all went horribly wrong.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Does anybody copy over? Mayday, mayday, mayday. Does anybody copy over?
The car then just fell over.
Oh my god, I've killed my babies.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Does anybody copy over? Mayday, mayday, mayday. Does anybody copy over?
We were basically heading south, down towards Bairnsdale.
So we've, packed everyone in, got everyone organised, went through Jindabyne.
Yeah, Steve had a terrible cold that day and had taken a cold and flu tablet, and Jen decided to drive. They thought it was the best thing to do. So
I think we're about 50 kilometres south of Jindabyne. It's a dirt road, quite slippery, like gravelly kind of road.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Does anybody copy over?
There were some quite significant washout ruts where the water has run down the road and just created these channels.
And we were on a fairly windy track, it was quite gravelly. So I was taking it really easy. I didn't push it at all.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Does anybody copy over?
We're just coming around this bend. There's a pretty significant cliff on this side and the wall on that side.
the road, we'd had a lot of rain before that, and there were some potholes in the road, and I think the car probably went into a pothole first, or maybe it was a trailer, I'm not sure, but we were going about 40 k's.
And suddenly the steering wheel just jolted and we started heading off the road.
It's obviously something behind us has gone wrong.
And bearing in mind we had, a fairly, steep wall this side, and that side was a fairly steep descent. And so my first instinct is to pull away from that because I'm thinking we're going to go down there. And I just remember saying to Steve, what's going on? What's happening?
It just fish-tailed from there, that we just went backwards and forwards a few times.
And so we were kind of lurching around what feels like eternity. Then it just kind of got to the point of ridiculousness, like the car shaking. We were just lurching around from side to side, and then suddenly we just, I think I just pulled it straight into the wall. I thought, well, I've got to stop.
We skidded to a halt into the wall. The front of the bull bar just sort of smacked into the dirt embankment. But then we'd stopped, and the car then just fell over, and subsequently it turned out that it was the trailer had continued to roll behind us and had tipped us that last bit over.
It was quite surreal, really, because yes, nobody screamed or thought, oh hell, this is the end or anything. It just all happened and then it stopped.
And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God. And then I had warm liquid on my back and there was silence, just silence. And I thought, oh my God, I've killed my babies.
There's just stuff everywhere, and there's just this moment of unreality, like, did that really just happen? You know, what's happening here? And yeah, so that was a pretty scary moment.
And then suddenly everyone started talking at once. And I said, Steve, what's on me? What's on me? And he said, it's okay, it's just your coffee. It's all right, you know, we're all okay. And he wound down his window and climbed out. And
my real worry was the fact that we were in the middle of the road and it's on a fairly blind corner, and I started imagining, you know, what if someone comes barreling around behind us?
Steve and I just proceeded to get out and you know, undo seat belts, pass girls out through, you know, the window that we were able to open.
And everyone climbed back down the underside of the car, which is, you know, the chassis and the rails and everything was a bit of a ladder.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Is anybody copy over?
Climbed back in the car, got on the UHF radio, and fortunately I got the rangers because we're still within the national park area. So they arrived and pretty much coordinated things from there onwards, which was very handy actually, having them so close. The trailer's actually done almost a 360 roll behind us, and it looks like the boat soaked up most of the damage.
And I've just said to Steve, I've done it. I've absolutely stuffed it. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's not your fault. It's okay, you know.
I just remember at that time just thinking, this is a pretty big setback, you know. The car's pretty badly damaged, but you don't think, I wasn't thinking, oh, the trip's over. I was just thinking, how are we going to get past this? When we got everything back to Jindabyne, yeah, I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're going to have to get the car fixed. I know the damage is quite extensive because the whole side was damaged. At the end of the day, it was basically panel damage. I expected it to be expensive, but I didn't think there'd be any real problem with that. We'd actually hoped to get the car fixed in Jindabyne, or Cooma, which is not far from Jindabyne. We couldn't find a crash repair either of them that would actually do it. The guy in Jindabyne said he would do it, and then a few days later changed his mind, said it was too big a job for him, he couldn't do it. But during that time, the towing company, we asked them to get it going because we were thinking about actually driving it back to Melbourne. You know, potentially, you know, that might be an option. And they couldn't get it started, and they're trying all these different things, and that's when they realised that the engine had actually seized up. And to this day, we have no real idea why that happened. We looked at the possibility of getting it fixed. They said, well, look, it's going to cost you $1,500 or $2,000 just to strip the engine down, just to work out what's wrong with it. Chances are it'll cost more to fix than to replace. So in this situation, a seized engine, you generally just throw it away and get another one. We're looking at a $12,000 bill for fixing the car, and then the engine was going to cost, a diesel engine for a Landcruiser is about $12,000 or $13,000. So at this point, the insurance company said, well, that's it, it's a write-off. You'll need to just write it off and we'll give you a check. And you know, that's just the last thing we wanted. You know, we invested so much into this car, we've got everything set up ready for the trip. So we ended up, we put the whole lot on a truck and trucked it all back to Melbourne. The Idlers radio show on the ABC has been following our trip for the last few months. So once we got back to Melbourne, we dropped into the studio to give them and the listeners an update.
So the tow bar, the trailer's bouncing around, it's upside down, and eventually it managed to turn your car over. At least you know that your tow bar is very strong.
It's very solid. So if the tow bar had given way...
Yes.
Well, if that had happened, the trailer would have actually tumbled down the side of the cliff. The car probably wouldn't have turned over. The car would have been better off, but the trailer would still be down.
You would have lost the trailer. But these things can happen in the blink of an eye.
And that's it. One minute everything was great, next second I'm saying to Steve, what do I do?
So what we did in the end is we actually went to the insurance company and said, well look, if we pay the difference and will you just pay us as much as you would pay and then we'll make up the difference. And they said that's fine. And I reasoned that, well, it might cost us some money but we'll have a brand new engine, and instead of getting a reconditioned engine we just bought a brand new one. And I think we're about $6,000-7,000 we had to put into that.
Once it's all put back together again, are you going to head back up to Jindabyne and pick up where you left off?
Well, we're not actually going. We've got.
I'm not going down that road.
We're going to do it.
No, we're not. No.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle
That's not yours. Boy. Boy.
This is Savannah from Santa.
jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
You went on a little Christmassy New Year's holiday to Hahndorf, did you?
We did. Well, Steve's family's from Adelaide.
Oh, yeah.
Our plans before we crashed was after Christmas we'd be heading off to Adelaide and catching up with the family. So we thought we would continue that plan and go and catch up with the family, which we did, and we had a fantastic week.
The top of Mount Kosciuszko. So as you can see, we're in the new Chateau de Bale. It's quite cosy, quite comfortable. We're using this in conjunction with the emergency support vehicle as our camp while we're staying in Hahndorf.
We're coming up for our 1 month anniversary since we had the accident. It's been a bit of an epic journey and we're still really no closer to anything at the moment, which is kind of frustrating.
This coming week everyone should be back at work and the wheels should turn more expediently for you to get your four-wheel drive and trailer back on the road.
Hopefully that's the case. I want to get back on the road.
Of course you do.
Steve's getting a bit antsy, the poor guy.
I think I can hear it running. New doors on there, new fender, new guards. And a nice purr of a brand new engine there. It sure feels good to be back in the driver's seat. Blowing a whole lot of smoke out the back. I hope that's just because the engine's brand new and got a bit of oil floating around in there. Today's Sunday and we're hoping to get away on Thursday. So we've got about 4 days to get organised. First thing I'm going to do is reinstall our cargo barrier. Just need to cut a small section out of the carpet here so I can fit the bolt in. It goes into the floor. I just can't believe how much stuff we've got to get done this week. It's pretty amazing. First up, I'm stopping in at ARB to get some side steps and rails fitted. This will certainly help us out when we're bashing through the bush, climbing on top. I suppose with any major repair job you have to expect a few teething problems. The car has to go back to the people that put the engine in. The air conditioning needs to be regassed. There's a bit of an oil leak towards the back of the engine, which I don't think is a major problem. It probably just needs something to be tightened up. And they've left off the bottom bash plate. Got to find that and put that back on. So I mean, these are little things, but no doubt they'll take several hours. I mean, it took them 3 weeks to put the engine in. Our revised departure date is Friday now. We're hoping to get away Friday morning. The wheels and tyres are organised finally, and Sarah's in the back there. She's my little helper today. We're heading on down to Bell Street now to get this window here tinted, which was overlooked when the crash repairer fixed the car.
So it depends what we want to do. If we go down the coast road and then come back up through there before we then go on, or go here and then go back through here. There's this magnificent bit of coast here that we're not going to see if we go the short way, if you like.
Get best camping ground.
Lake Elizabeth.
Lake Elizabeth.
Yeah.
In Otways.
Yeah, Otways.
Yes.
Today's our last day before we leave. It's all of our worldly possessions.
Nicely stored away in there. Basically, I've come out here to put the rest of our gear into storage that we're leaving behind. That's it. What we don't have in our car and our camper trailer is all in there. It's now been 11 weeks since the crash, and after what seemed like an endless list of things to do, we're finally ready to hit the road again.
Is this like the last supper, Steve? You know, like the last roast chicken?
Yes. May the wheels travel well.
For the past 6 weeks, we've been camping in my dad's lounge room while we've been sorting out the car and camper trailer and boat, which have all needed major repairs. I think he's going to be happy to get his house back, but I'm sure he's going to miss us as well. We originally planned to be leaving Melbourne in late December, and it's now late February, so we're about 8 weeks behind schedule. We'll have to cut out some of the places we were planning to go so that we can make up that time over the next couple of months. There's also the problem of us having a $7,000 hole in our budget thanks to the new engine. At this stage, I don't know how we're going to make that up. We're just going to have to figure something out along the way. There always seems to be just one more thing to fix.
There's an oil leak. Let's see how much we can get in there. It's bloody thick. And she goes. It's a bit like honey. Alright, that's it, job's done.
See you later.
See ya.
Thanks for having us.
See ya.
Bye, Grandma.
I'm not going to cry.
So here we go. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Let's drive around Australia, hey?
Okay. Okay. Let's do it.
Make sure we don't
No more crash, Sarah. That's right, God.
No more crash.
We'll be working very hard to make sure we don't crash again.
GPS.
Got the iPod holder.
No,
We got the iPod?
Yes, we got the iPod.
Well, it's been 77 days now since we had our crash back on the 8th of December. But it's all done now. We're on the road, finally. And we've got around about 11 months in front of us to get around the country. How long have we been on the road? Oh, about half an hour. Time for lunch.
With our already tight budget now $7,000 tighter, we're going to be saving money every way that we can.
We have a nice little system worked out where we can actually get a large chocolate shake and split it between the girls. It saves $1. Work that out over the trip, it's thousands.
This is classic Melbourne weather, 4 seasons in one day.
Oh, we're out here, isn't it? The car's handling well, the trailer's towing nicely. The new wheels and tyres we got are bigger than the last ones. They're 33-inch diameter instead of the 31 that we had before. And at this speed, about 90 kilometres an hour, the revs are lower and the car's running smoother. With the smaller wheels, it tended to rev pretty high.
We'll just stop in at Lawn for a couple of days and get back into the camping lifestyle.
Ooh, Daddy's so strong.
Surrounded by females, really pink.
Oh, purple.
Thank God we've got some green in there.
Lawn's a favourite holiday spot for Melbourneites, being just a couple of hours down the road. We've had plenty of weekends down here over the years. There's a lookout just out of town which should give us a good view of the Great Ocean Road.
Oh, wow!
Oh, it's so lovely.
This has got a very Mediterranean feel to me, except instead of Commodores and Falcons we need Porsches and Ferraris. Next stop is Erskine Falls, which is only about 10 kilometres out of Lorne on the edge of the Otway Ranges, which run along the back of the Great Ocean Road.
Oh, my leg.
Good reading in it, eh? Savannah, do you want marmalade?
Yes.
Sarah, do you want marmalade?
Yeah.
Ducks, do you want marmalade? On your crusts? Okay.
We've really seen the benefit of our lightening of the load. It only took us a couple of hours this morning to get everything packed up. Kids were fantastic, they just ran around and did their own thing. So today we're heading off, we are going to Port Campbell.
This stretch of the Great Ocean Road between Lorne and Apollo Bay is definitely the windiest part of the whole road. It's certainly one you don't want to be rushing. Plan to take it very easy, and obviously we're towing a camper trailer and lots of little turnouts where you can pull over to the side and let other cars go past, because it's a case of making the road work for everybody.
But we have a lot of ground to cover today, so we're going to find something for lunch that won't break the bank.
Check this out.
Oh, I don't think that's enough.
Now all I want to know is, what are you guys having? Did you want some lunch as well?
Yeah.
Did you want some lunch as well? Oh, I just got enough for me.
Why? We're all sharing it.
It's not bad for $20, is it? No? It's about 3 o'clock, so we're going to have to leg it now to Port Campbell, so we don't want to get there in the dark. Yeah? So we'll put the DVD on for girls.
Different type of DVD.
Oh. You need these, don't you?
Go hiking and not. We're going to go hiking and walking, and I don't want to.
You don't want to go?
No.
Why?
It'll take too much long.
What would you rather do? Savannah, what would you rather do?
Stay home and play.
Play what?
Play chasing, hide and seek, go for a walk with my baby. That's what I prefer to do. Come on, Bobs. Come on.
What about you, little miss? What would you rather do?
Would you like to stay home with me, Sarah? Or would you like to go for a walk now? No. Shoes on. Okay, shoes on before you go for a walk. Can I put my shoes on? Okay. Shoes on.
Well, the girls are obviously thrilled at the prospect of another day of hiking and sightseeing, as you can tell. No doubt they'll warm up to it once we get out there.
So these are the famous 12 apostles, although there isn't 12 anymore as a few have crumbled into the sea like the one in front of us. Thousands of people come to Port Campbell every year to see them, and some even jump in a helicopter to get a closer look. But I reckon most people miss the best view. I came down here this morning before dawn, and the view with the misty air and the sun rising was well worth getting up early for. It's worth taking in the view from the other direction as well, which is pretty spectacular. I set up a time-lapse camera, and the mist rolling into the sea and the sun behind it looked amazing.
What's in there? What's in my pocket? Gorgeous.
It doesn't look gorgeous to me.
Oh, you're just a grumpy bum.
No, it's because I want to go to the beach.
Savannah's got the grumps on because she didn't want to get out of the car. She just wanted to stay there and watch her DVD. Maybe our little plan to put a DVD player in there to break up the driving has backfired.
We're going to Lockhart Gorge, ready for sunset and a picnic dinner.
Okay, Savannah, she feeling happier?
I don't know, are you feeling happier? No, still grumpy.
What do you reckon? Should we picnic on the beach?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Well, someone's in a better mood all of a sudden.
After all that, all she needed was a bit of beach, a bit of sand, a bit of salt water.
That's easy. Have to remember that, Daddy.
Picnics at the beach makes Savannah happy.
Makes Savannah happy.
Alright. So the history of this place, well, it's called Lockhart Gorge because of the ship, the Lockhart that sank just off the coast here. And everybody died except 2 people, and their names were, Professor? Eva Carmichael.
Eva Carmichael.
And
Can't remember the guy's name.
we'll look up the names. And they were the only survivors, and they're both 18 years old. They swam into the cove here, and need to research the story a bit more and find out what happened to them. Sounds like Blue Lagoon with Brooks Fields and what was his name? I don't know, something I saw a long time ago. It was Christopher Atkins and Brooks Fields from Blue Lagoon, I just remembered.
Today we're driving right across the bottom of Victoria into South Australia, and we'll stay at Robe if we make it that far. We've only got about 3 months to get from down here in the southeast all the way to Broome, which is right up in the northwest corner and about as far away from here as you can get. So we're under a bit of pressure to keep moving.
This is what we call express lookouts. Can't avoid seeing these amazing scenes. So we run because we've got a lot of ground to cover today. Ooh, have a look at that. Oh wow. Well, I could get the boat and the skin diving gear into there. Be magnificent. Alrighty, off to the next lookout. Shouldn't be a race, but Australia's a big country and we've got a lot of ground to see. Ooh, here we go. Fantastic. I got the shot.
Eva Carmichael was the young lady, and Tom Pearce was the boy.
Oh, that's right.
Tom was washed up actually into the gorge of Lockhart. He thought that he was the only survivor, but it turns out that he heard someone calling for help out actually in the water, and Eva had got hold of a branch or a piece of the shipwreck or something, and was basically holding on for dear life, and Tom heard her and went out and saved her basically, but it took him over an hour to get her onto the beach.
Okay.
The current must have been fairly strong, the tide must have been going in the other direction or one of those things. And so he got her to the safety of the beach. She was very distressed, as could be imagined.
Why? The ship sunk, did it?
It turns out that there was a few things that got washed up on the shore, and brandy was one of them, which was quite fortunate really. So he gave her some brandy and settled her down, and then he walked up out of the gorge into the grasslands, and there happened to be 2 drovers going past.
Okay.
And they took them up to the homestead, and so they were saved.
Wow.
That's kind of nice.
Come on. So we shake all the car lethargy out of them. Getting ready for another stint. There we go. Alright. Good for another 100 Ks now, I reckon.
Well, it's been a long driving day, but we should get to Robe in time to set up camp before it's dark. There we go.
Good. Very helpful, very friendly.
She's escaped. How'd you get out of the handcuffs? Where's it all going?
Gone.
Where?
They're gone.
Did you drink it?
Yeah.
Down there?
No, I don't want any more. No.
There.
The moon's up there.
So, well, it's not much of a day weather-wise today, so we're going to have a bit of a sightseeing day. We're up near the Coonawarra region. It's about 90 kilometre drive from here. A couple of our favourite wineries, which is always a good thing.
But there's no way we can get this close to the Coonawarra without stopping in for a visit. We're stopping in at Wynn's Winery first, which is one of the most well-known of the Coonawarra wineries. The Coonawarra region is one of the best red wine producing regions in the world, and what makes it so good is the red Terra Rosa soil, the limestone, pure underground water and long, cool ripening season for the grapes. All of the vineyards share a strip of earth around 21 kilometres long and only 2 kilometres wide, so land is at a premium. While Wynn's is the epitome of large-scale commercial wineries, right across the road is Redmond's, which has barely changed in decades but still produces some fantastic wines. It's been a favourite of Jen and I since we first came here nearly 15 years ago.
Very earthy, I would agree with that. Just to confirm, it is sensational.
well, the wine is spectacular as always. Redmond's is completely reliable.
Well, that should keep us going for a while. We're still a long way behind schedule and we need to catch up, so we have to keep moving. The best time to be driving across the top of Australia is the dry season between April and September, so we need to get back on schedule over the next 2 months, and there's a lot of country to cover in that time.
Steady. 5 in the tent. Good night, campers. Pop. Out popped Cyril. Pop. Out popped Tallulah.
We're pretty much heading away from civilization, so we stopped off at supermarket on the way out of Adelaide and stocked up big time. As you can see, we've got pretty much enough food to keep us going for a couple of weeks if it came to it. I'm sure we'll be able to get food across the Nullarbor and around the Eyre Peninsula, but it's probably not going to be as cheap as it is in Adelaide, and we don't want to be too dependent on what we find over there, so hence we've got a lot of stock.
Is that my potato?
Before we tackle the long haul across the Nullarbor into Western Australia, we're going to stop in at Lincoln National Park for a while and try our hand at bush camping. There aren't any facilities in the park, so we'll be making do with what we've got on board.
And this is Surfleet Cove, I think is the correct name of the campground that we're in. There's many in Lincoln National Park. It's pretty basic amenities, but it's all well worth it is to cater for yourself. We are right, the ocean is right there, and got a beautiful breeze coming through. It's quite warm still. It's 6 o'clock and it's still quite warm, so we've tried to get something that's got a little bit of shade.
You all ready for bed? That's good.
Yeah.
We've woken up to rain this morning and I can see people walking around out in the bay, so I'm going to head out there and see what they're fishing for. My guess is it's going to be crabs. Well, they're not crabs. They're actually a type of shellfish called razorfish, which live in the mud and sand flats along the South Australian coastline.
There we go.
Terry here has mastered the knack of getting the shells out of the sand and the meat out of the shell. It's the white muscle that's the eating part.
In the water again. That's it.
That's why they call them razorfish, you know, because the way they stick out the water like that.
Sharp edge on top.
You can actually feel them under your feet. Certainly want to have decent shoes on. Terry, what's the recommendation for cooking these things?
We usually flatten them out with a steak tenderiser and then crumb them and drop them straight into hot fat, oil, whatever. And just a few seconds, pull them out and eat them straight away.
It's a regular production line you guys have got going here.
Yeah. Oh, we're pretty steady compared to most of the locals, so.
We're only new at it.
You're getting a feed though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good feed. Good entree.
Yeah. There's a bag limit of 25 per person per day, but that would still make for a lot of eating. I definitely want to get a feed of these razorfish myself, so I'm going to come back on tomorrow's low tide when I'm a bit better prepared. Geez, they look so much like scallops.
They taste good, eh? And the mossies got you today?
Yeah, last night they got Savannah Beauty. This is down the Great Ocean Road.
Oh dear.
And still got one or two, but Savannah last night got mauled. And I thought that I did a pretty good job of mozzying the tent last night. There was only only a couple when I went in. I just got rid of them. There must have been one or two left over.
Too much energy.
You're making me tired.
Yep.
Kangaroo.
Oh, little one.
There's a little one. Oh, look, they come creeping up.
I want baby one.
We've come out going to town and the car won't start. I've had a look at the battery and it looks like it's pretty much cactus. So I'm not really sure why. The battery's less than 2 years old. So what I'm trying to do at the moment is just jump off the second battery and we'll see if that works. And as you can see, that ain't working either. We also had a bit of dingo activity last night. There's signs everywhere here that says don't get too close to the edge because it could crumble at any time. Just me. That white area down there is where the Batavia crashed into the reef on the night of the 4th of June 1629.
It's as close to heaven as I get.
You got your glasses on?
The fish isn't, but...
Once again, I think it's on the same place.